And we are here on Talk of the Town. I'm Betsy McDaniel, in for Robin Zimmerman today. And with me is Gawronski. He is going to talk to us about some retirement planning and stuff. But I wanted to say it's nice to meet you. This is my first time interviewing you. So thank you for being here.
It's great to be here. And that's ironic because this is going to be my last time here, being here for a while.
Sorry you're not saying goodbye to Robin. I know she's enjoyed being with you.
Yes, I'll say bye to Robin now when she sees this. It was great working. Well, I'll be back. I'm just going to take a short break and do a few other things. Okay. And I know I had a ton of fun doing this with Robin over the past year. Yeah. And I hope we motivated some people to take control of their financial futures. And I hope these videos did some good because I know Robin and I had a lot of fun doing them.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I know it's been great information through this year. And we're going to wrap it up with some more great information. Today, we're going to talk about retirement planning. So let's kind of jump right in and talk about when should we start thinking about retirement planning? So
the answer surprises a lot of people because I tell them there is no right time. Yeah. Like there is no perfect time. Because if you take 10 people, they're all going to be different in the beginning of their careers. You know, you have some people that come out of college and they're all gung-ho and saving and doing this. And you have some people that want to go rent jet skis out in San Diego. So It is a very personal choice of whenever you're ready to start. But the key takeaway is the earlier you start, the better. Like any goal, the earlier you set a goal and start working to it, even with small steps, the more likely you are to achieve that goal.
Absolutely. And so do we start with saving? What do we start with?
So the first thing to start with is giving an honest assessment of where you are. Okay. Are you comfortably paying your bills every month? Are you able to put money away? Because really the key to success in financial planning is savings. And I go over those people all the time. And yes, it gets more complicated of where to save and where to put it. But the key is just save money. Yes. So that's where you start. An honest assessment of where you are. Are you able to stop putting money away?
And so when you do that assessment, are you looking to say like, okay, let me start with, I want to save, I mean, even if it's $25 a month, let me start with that $25 and then see if I can make the rest of my bills? Because it would seem to me that maybe it's easier to do it first, because if you wait till the end of the month, that $25 is probably not going to be there anymore.
When you do it, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a goal that you're saving towards.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with that $25 a month? Maybe it's what you can afford, but the better way to do it is come up with a goal. That's the fun part. And unfortunately, some people get freaked out about this and they get nervous. And I try to work with my clients to be like, no, this is the fun part. Yeah. What do you want your retirement to look like? When are you going to retire? Because the earlier you retire, that's the sooner you give up your earned income, the sooner you have to worry about healthcare, the sooner you have to worry about taxes. Right. There's all these things that come into play, but don't stress out about it. Start early, come up with a plan, and enjoy the process, because you're only going to go through it once, hopefully.
Right. And so let's talk a little bit about that process. What are you looking at when you are envisioning what your retirement's going to look like?
Well, taxes are a big one. We mentioned taxes, and the reason that's such a big one is because people have to decide early on where they're going to save their money. So what kind of qualified retirement accounts are you using? Everyone's heard of a 401k. Most people have heard of an IRA. They might not be sure what it is. And most people by now have heard of a Roth 401k and a Roth IRA, but they're not totally sure what those are. And honestly, even a regular individual investment account can be earmarked for retirement. So the important thing to do is to know why you're putting money into each of these, what the pros and the cons are, and how they're taxed differently, because you have to have a plan for taxes in retirement.
Right. And so, and they really are all taxed differently and have different windows for withdrawal and all those kinds of things. So you would be somebody who can walk us through all of that?
Yeah, that's what a good financial planner is going to do with you. They're going to take a look at your future. They're going to ask you, what do you see? What are your bills going to be like in the future? Are you going to own a house? Are you going to own 2 houses? Are you going to travel a lot? What are you going to want to travel overseas? Or are you going to want to stay here in the States this year? Like, see your grandkids. Like, what is it you want to do? Yeah. Do you want to live down here half the year and up from Ohio or Pennsylvania or Massachusetts half the year? So once you have all these things and sit down with a financial planner, they're going to help you decide what kind of tax vehicle to put these in. Right. How are you going to handle taxes in the future? Because certain ones you get forced by the government at a certain age to start taking out your RMDs. You don't have a choice anymore. Some you don't. Some get taxed when you put them in. Some get taxed when you take them out. So just having a plan. Not one answer is right or wrong. Right. It's just making sure you have a reason for what you're doing and knowing what the results are going to be later.
Exactly. And let's talk to you a little bit about risk. And because I would say probably generally, the younger you are, the more risk you can take with your investments. But obviously you don't want to be too risky at any point.
That's how you're taught when you come into this. I remember coming into this brand new, and they talk about time horizon, how long into your retirement. And that's all true. How long do you have to your retirement? But there are some people that are getting close to retirement. They have no problem being aggressive. And if that's their personality and that's who they are, and they're willing to take chances, my job isn't to tell them no. My job is to tell them exactly what risks they're taking. Now, when you're young and have a long time horizon, yes, you want to be aggressive if you can, but not everyone is. Some people are very conservative with their money.
Right.
And it's not my job to convince them not to be.
Yeah.
Like, you want to make sure you're doing what's right for your client and make sure their plan fits their personality, or they're not going to stick with that plan, and it's going to end up failing in the end.
Yeah. Well, absolutely fabulous information. Thank you so much for being here today, Luke. We appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, it was a pleasure doing this with you today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.